Hey everybody, so what's the difference between the cmdlet write output and the keyword return? Now that's a question from last week's advanced PowerShell class. Let's take a look. Something that I really love about delivering IT classes is I get so many different perspectives. Now I've known about the return keyword for a very long time. I just never really dug deep into it until this particular question was asked. So let's take a look at the difference between using write output and return. For write output, its purpose is to send objects down the PowerShell pipeline to the next command or to the output stream. Usage-wise, it's used to produce output from a script or a function that can be consumed by other commands in the pipeline. Behavior-wise, it does not exit the script or the function. It simply passes data to the pipeline. For return, the purpose of return simply is to exit the function or the script. Now, usage-wise, that's what it's for. It's to get you out of that scope early. Now, it's either going to send a value back to the calling statement, or if you don't provide a value, it's going to return null. Let's take a look at some functions that use both write output and return so we can compare and contrast what they do. So here I have a function called test write output. I'm going to go ahead and put it in memory, and let's go ahead and run it. And you can see really what it does is it simply creates a variable called data, takes 5 plus 5, saves it in the variable, and then we use write output, and we sent that information back out to the PowerShell pipeline. Now, because we sent this object to the pipeline, I can pipe it to measure object, and I can also pipe it to get member, and we can see that a 32-bit integer is what was returned by that code. Now, here's that same code, but I'm going to add in this extra line after my write output. This is just going to write the value of data to our screen in magenta. So let's go ahead and put this function into memory, and I'm going to go ahead and run it. And you can see that we received two values back. Now this first one is what was put into the PowerShell pipeline. The second one was written directly to the screen. So we just proved that write output does not exit the function or the script. It just sends data to the pipeline. So here is our function test return. Now, the only difference in the code is right here where we're using the return keyword as opposed to the cmdlet write output. Now, it's going to have the same behavior. When I run it, you can see the number 10 pops up. I can pipe to measure object, so we do have an object. And once again, when you pipe it to get member, it is a 32-bit integer. This is where we're going to have some differences. So we're going back to this code, but this time we have the write host statement after return. Now remember, with the previous functionality, when I ran this, I seen 10 in white because it went to the pipeline and 10 in magenta. But in this case, we only see the data that was sent into the PowerShell pipeline. So what happened is when the return keyword executed, we left this entire function, and that means that the write host statement never had an opportunity to execute. In this next example, we are returning nothing. So let's see what happens. Put this in the memory. We run the function. We get nothing. But I'm going to test is null equal to whatever is returned by the function test return 3. It comes back as true, so we know it did in fact return null. So both of these will return data if you want to. Now write host will allow code execution to continue. Return will not. And if you don't want anything to be sent back to the calling statement, just call return without any information. I hope that clears up the differences between write output and return. Remember, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you all next time.